So here are 5 red flags that your boss is subtly destroying your life. So the problem with workplace abuse is that at best you're left feeling shamed, isolated, drained, fearful that you'll lose your job. And then at worst, your abusive boss might ruin your whole career. They might make you question your value at work. They might take a toll on your personal life, your health, leaving you with anxiety, depression, and even suicidal thoughts. So, the first red flag is that they nitpick or they make these jabs posed as jokes. And some managers always find fault. They will find anything trivial, even something that you've just spent hours or days working on. And you're left second guessing your skills and your entire value and feeling worthless. The second red flag is that they expect you to read their mind. It's this lose-lose situation where you're either looking incompetent by asking too many questions up front or just spending too much time trying to guess their expectations.
Overanalyzing.
Completely failing.
That's what I did.
The third red flag is that they're
Looking at
playing
my
favorites. So you might know that
previous-
you're not in their inner circle, and that affects your morale. It might leave you out of email loops or limit your participation in general conversations or exclude you from social events after work. These are all forms of ignoring you and leaving you isolated. The fourth one is that they do not have clear boundaries. You know, we have cell phones now and emailing and texting, and just because you can work off hours doesn't mean that they should expect you to. This is not paid time off that you're getting.
No.
The fifth red flag is that they kiss up. They reinforce this hierarchy. They kiss up, they kick down, they cater to their superiors and self-promote. They manipulate, they backstab, they might have narcissistic tendencies. These are all tools to climb the corporate ladder, but also tools that let their teams down.
Toxic bosses, we've all had them at one point or another. It was a weird situation for me because the toxic manager that I'm referring to, it's odd. I got along with him personally, but I just don't think that they were very good to me as a manager. Now, there are a couple things I wanted to touch on as a comment on what that lady had said. Personal boundaries. Yes, they had my cell phone. It got to the point where I was the type of employee that if someone needed to switch or if someone called off, you know what, I'll take the extra hours, you know. I was that type of person. Eventually, being that type of employee came around to bite me in the ass. I just realized I had a little speck of cheese right here. Come on, why didn't someone stop me and tell me? Come on. What are you doing, guys? Being reliable ended up biting me in the ass because it got to the point that I was being texted every week to come in because we had a certain employee that was not reliable. He wasn't the best employee, but I was always the one that was texted to come in. And if I dared to just say no, the manager would demand an explanation. No is a complete sentence, by the way. It is none of their business why you can't come in on your scheduled day off. I always felt that I needed to essentially lie, give them a reason I couldn't come in. Well, then I got transferred to another store, and I think they may have texted me. I worked there for a little over a year. They might have texted me like maybe 2 or 3 times to see if I could switch or see if I could come in or stay later or something, and that was fine. But the location I worked at before, it was getting to me in every freaking week thing. So yeah, that cuts into my personal life because I'm off the clock. I'm trying to enjoy the time with my child, and I'm getting text messages from my boss. And they would also text me about stupid things while they were at work and I was at home. One time it was about a a video that they saw where the young boy looked like me, I guess. And I was already stressed out for whatever was going on at home. And there's been a few times I've had to block their numbers for the day just so that I wouldn't have to hear from them. And if my former manager is listening to this video, you know who you are and you know I'm right. Another thing I wanted to touch on, questioning your value at work. Oh yes. There are quite a few things that had happened working under this person that did affect my confidence. The way that the hierarchy was in the store, or should have been in the store, was there was the store manager, the assistant manager. I was okay with the assistant manager. And then the pool and spa specialist, which for a while it was me. And then there was the salespeople. There were a few times when I was technically in charge of the store because the assistant or the store manager weren't on the clock. It was normally during the winter time. And if something needed done, it would have technically been my responsibility to either do it or to give that job to one of the salespeople. There was another lady, if you want to call her that worked below me. I don't want to say she was below me, but she was a salesperson. So he would text her, hey, make sure this gets done before you close tonight. He wouldn't text me. It's like he respected this person more than he respected me. That was very annoying. And not to make this video like a half hour long, there were a few things that did happen that affected my confidence. And so because my confidence was affected, then I would start to second guess myself, just like that lady said in that video. Even though I know I did well there for sales and I was good at paperwork, I was good at selling things to customers, big ticket items. But anyways, there were a lot of things that a manager and store manager would do that I was actually able to do. I knew how to do the closing paperwork. I had the keys to the store. I knew how to open. There's a lot of things that I actually did that were management level that I essentially was able to do. So you would think when time for a promotion would come up for an assistant manager, you think that I would be the prime candidate, right? No. They would promote the salesperson who had no experience selling a pool or a spa or many big ticket items, didn't know how to do the opening and closing of the store, and didn't have a key. Makes sense? No. But the one day when I talked to this store manager about why I wasn't the one promoted, he said it was a confidence issue, that he didn't have any control over who was the assistant manager, that it was the higher-ups. Okay. And they said it was a confidence issue. Well, how would they know that I didn't have confidence? Who would give them that idea? Who would give them that idea? You know that came from the store manager, because the higher-ups didn't really work in the store. So why would they have that opinion of me if they didn't work with me personally, or if they didn't have someone tell them that? Anyways, just to not make this video even longer, because I'm sure I could go on. Sorry guys. Enjoy the next video.
You must get to the clock out. Clock out. Last week I told you we canceled you about not taking your breaks and me going over labor hours to 6.5 hours a
Put your finger in my face.
Then get out of the store.
Woman, you don't know who you messing with. Don't do this.
Sit, Haley. I'm not scared of you
I'm
anymore.
not scared of you.
Everybody's mad because I backed up last time. I'm not backed
Don't
up.
think you put your voice up in my face.
Get out my store.
Just move out of the way.
Both of y'all need to chill. Y'all acting like you're two heroes. Calm down. Go sit
She is
down.
not.
Both relax.
I need some context
Both
here.
of y'all need to
She
relax.
come in here and she acting like I don't know what. I'm trying to do what I
My
need
boss
to
is
do.
on the phone. I'm not doing this with you anymore, Amy. You want to do it in the bathroom, nobody's around? I'm tired of it.
I'm not
You want to
gonna
run this store? Do you want to run this store? Are you sure?
opportunity to do
If then you're not anymore, and I know I'm not telling you to go home.
Scare people away.
Clock out. Stop bullshitting on the computer and clock out. You're doing
You know what? For you to be a boss,
Right.
you're not being very nice.
Right.
I'm not, because I've had her assault me before, ma'am.
No, I didn't
But
assault
you
her.
need to take this somewhere else.
You're right, I can't
You're
even go somewhere else.
Customers.
Right.
You're the one being disrespectful.
Right.
Does anybody else feel like they need some context for that one? I don't know. Me personally, I think they were both toxic, both the manager and the employee. Maybe. I don't know. The manager mentioned that the employee never clocks out for her break. Now, is that telling me that she's just not going on her break, or she goes on her break and doesn't clock out? It all depends. If she's not going on her break and not clocking out to go on her break, is there nobody else to relieve her? There's a few questions, so I don't know who's really in the wrong here. What do you think? Another thing that I just thought of, it's also very disrespectful for the manager to be confronting her in front of customers. That was a store full of customers and possibly other employees too. Even one of the customers started to get involved in telling the manager that she's being unprofessional. So she's also disrespecting the customer. Anyways, let me know what you think on that one. I'm only going to do one more. I didn't want this video to be too long tonight. And, oh, it's a doozy. It's a doozy. So, enjoy.
I just confronted my bosses about unfair working condition, and you won't believe their reaction. I've been doing this job for a couple of years, and I finally decided to say something. I asked them for a meeting, and I said it all. I'm on call 24/7, and holidays, let's just say they don't feel like holidays. I don't get overtime, weekend rates, sick days, you name it. I am so tired because I never get a full night's sleep. Like I said, I'm on call 24/7. I'm physically and mentally exhausted. I never know what my bosses are going to throw at me, and I've had no training. And the thing is, despite all of this, I can't quit. Why can't I quit, you might ask? Well, let's ask the bosses. Safe to say our conversation did not go well.
That was cute, guys. I admit, whenever I first saw that clip, I was not expecting those two little cuties in the very end. Come to think of it, I have to confront my little toxic boss in the next room. She's been wanting a snuggle, so I better go before I get in trouble. So, all right, guys, go out into the world and cause a little bit of chaos. And don't let the toxic bosses get to you. I'm so glad I don't have a toxic boss now. It is a world difference, believe me. Anyways, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.